Today's topic is going to be winterizing your glass. Winterizing your glass goes further than just getting a glass cleaner, wiping down your glass, and avoiding all the contaminants. That's the bare minimum that you could ever do on your glass. So today I have this Infinity in the shop, and I actually have this perfect example that I actually want to show you guys. We have not washed the car at all, and the owner of this car, as you guys can see, he's been using the wipers on his glass. Now, there's a layer of filth and grime on this side, but at one point there was filth and grime on this side, and these wiper blades have been going, obviously doing its job, removing all the water or whatever may have been on his glass away from the surface. Now, what ends up happening is the filth and grime gets onto the wipers, and then all this filth and grime is just sitting on the wipers, and every single time he goes to turn them on, you're just rubbing your glass, and over time you could actually scratch your glass. Now, scratching your glass goes further than just like, can I get a polish to polish out? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, because glass is very delicate. But today I'll be showing you how simple and easy it is to avoid all this situation. Anyways, guys, let me go on that side and we'll get right into this video. All right, so now that I'm on this side, let's get right into this procedure. So first things first, we're gonna start off with step number one, which is going to be getting a glass cleaner, just so we could remove any filth or grime away from the surface of the glass. Now, what ends up happening is everybody that does not have a garage knows this situation. I'm actually going to be putting this bottle on the floor. Now, you wake up, there's morning dew, and your glass has all this morning dew on it. So you get in your car, first things first, you either start splattering your glass with water from the inside, or you just turn on your wipers to try to clear it up. In the most parts, you do not actually want to do that. Now, doing this whole entire procedure is going to prevent morning dew from actually sticking onto the glass, and if you do have like a blower in the morning, just to get it, or even a microfiber towel, just come and dry your glass and you'll be good to go. So first things first is going to be clean up the surface using Streak Free. Now, Streak Free is an easy to use glass cleaner. It's also tint safe and it contains zero ammonia, so you could be using this everywhere. Right now, what I'm just doing is just inspecting this towel to see if it has any type of tags on it. So I'll get my Streak Free, I'll go to the area, I'll spray directly on it. Now, if I was just to utilize Streak Free by itself right now, it is going to achieve a Streak Free glass. But what I'm looking for right now during this winter is going to be protection and high intensity of water beading. And Streak Free is not going to provide that for me. This is just going to clean up the surface of the glass. Now, one thing that I do notice is that this glass does have water spots sitting around the edge. That means there's calcium. The owner of this car has been parking next to sprinklers. Calcium's getting to his glass. And over time, if you don't clean it up, you're just going to be causing more of a headache for yourself, because over time the water spots are just going to be etching itself into the glass. And you guys can see, I just wiped down the surface of this glass and all of that filth and grime is actually sitting on the glass. I've been saying glass too many times, so comment down below how many times I've already said that word. But let me just go over to this side just to wipe it down. If I walk over to this side, I'll do the same procedure. Spray Streak Free directly onto the surface. Get my microfiber towel. And you always want to wipe it in one direction. Now, right now, what I'm just focusing on is just removing the filth and grime away from the surface of the vehicle. Just because I am going to be doing multiple procedures, like my next step is going to be clay barring. So I am not looking for a perfect streak-free glass right now. I'm just trying to remove any filth and grime that has been sitting on it. So bear with me. If I do have a little bit of streaks, that's perfectly fine, because I will be removing all of that whenever I get to my clay bar process. All right, so I just finished wiping down the surface of the glass. The glass is now clean. But one thing that I do want to show you guys is I actually have gloves on, and the glass has like this drag to it. It's not smooth as glass. How I like to explain it, if you have a smartphone right now, pick it up, take it out of your pocket, or maybe you're watching this video, just pause this video real quick, touch the front of your glass. If it's not cracked, that's how your glass is supposed to feel on your car. If it does not feel like that, that means you need to clay bar it. Whenever there's any type of drag, any filth, grime, debris that lands on it is going to get stuck on it, embed itself over time, and over time you're going to be having, one, a surface that's not going to be super hydrophobic, and two, it's going to attract more dust, more grime, And during the harmful winters, the first thing you want to do is just always have visibility and clarity. But I actually missed a little bit of filth and grime right here. I'll just get my streak free, spray some directly onto my microfiber towel, and come back and just buff this off. All right, so now we will be walking back over to this side, and we'll be moving on to the next step, which is going to be claying the glass. Put my HydroSlick right there. The type of clay bar I'll be using today is going to be the OG clay bar. The OG clay bar is going to allow me to pull off any contaminants away from the surface that I am going to be clay barring. Now, we always have this situation. Our customers receive this big clay bar and they want to use the whole entire piece. The answer is no. Just remove the little plastic pieces and remove a small chunk from it. And it's so sticky, you guys can see. You want the sticky effect so you can ensure you're removing all contaminants away from the surface that you are clay barring. Whenever you're done, put this back in its cubby. Put this back onto the surface. Now, what I recommend you do is put it into a little ball, push down on it, make it into a 3-width finger. And after it's on the 3-width finger, you will pair it with the clay luber. Now you'll get your clay luber, and I would recommend using this type of lubricant because it's going to help you glide your clay bar across the surface of the vehicle. A lot of people always comment down below saying, can I use soap and water? We don't recommend that because it's actually going to deteriorate your clay bar and it's going to fall apart. Now if you want a long-lasting clay bar, pair it with clay luber. This is a synthetic lubricant that's going to help you glide the surface of the clay bar across the surface without causing any clay marring or any type of change to the area. All it's going to do is remove contamination. So I spray some directly onto the glass. I'm also going to spray some directly onto the bar, and then I will be going to the glass and just start going side to side. Now, whenever you're new to clay barring, what ends up happening is you start feeling like this smooth effect starting immediately, and that's what you're actually looking for. You want the glass, the surface you are clay barring, to get smoother as the strokes go side to side on the surface. Now, if you don't feel it getting more smoother, that means the glass or the surface you're working on is heavily contaminated and you might need to go up in levels of clay bar. So we do offer different types of levels of clay bar. We offer the light duty, which is the blue one, the OG, which is light to medium, which is the yellow one. We offer the gray one, which is medium, and we also offer the black one, which is the heavy one. So I would recommend starting off light and work your way up. Now this glass is severely contaminated, so I'm gonna give it a couple passes. And then I'm going to be putting my clay bar off to the side, just so I can wipe it down and we could hear our results. And then after that, I'll continue after I inspect them. No tag. Oh, this one does have a tag. Come to the surface. And after you finish clay barring the surface, the area actually gets easier to wipe down, easier to work with, because the towel, the microfiber towel that I'm actually using, is not grabbing onto the contamination, because the towel microfiber strands are like little hands and they grab onto everything. So if you do have a heavily contaminated surface, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, one, to clean it, but two, also to maintain the shine and protection if you have like a ceramic coating on it or who knows what. But it's smooth as glass. So look, remember how I was talking about the dragging effect? I still have a glove on. There's no more dragging effect compared to over here. And that's what we're trying to remove. All of that is just has been contamination where my hand is getting stuck every time. Compared to here, it just glides. So that means the OG clay bar is doing a fantastic job on this glass. Next up, I just need to do that side. So give me a quick second to finish up that side. And then we'll be moving on to the next part, which is going to be ceramic coating the glass and protecting it further. This is smooth. This is not smooth. So we clean the glass, we clay bar the glass. Is the surface smooth? The surface is now smooth as glass. Haha, no pun intended. But if you were to clay the surface, like for example, if I was to clay the surface as glass, I personally would not drive it outside because my whole entire work that I just did, my hard work, is gonna go down the drain. So the next step you need to do is protect the surface. So like this, there's some type of protection on the surface that we just worked on, and any filth, grime, contamination, wherever this car might park, it's going to be at least protected. So I'll be protecting it today using HydroSlick. Now HydroSlick is super easy to use, and it's one of my favorite products to actually use on any type of car that I'm actually working on. Open up the spout. I'll be adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we always get this question on our social media, YouTube, anywhere, is how does a substance look? How I like to explain it, it's almost like jelly. So if I wiggle it around, it's going to like wiggle. But I'll go to the area I'm actually going to be working on. I'll be blotching it out. Now I'll start working it in side to side. And off camera, I'll get under the windshield wipers just because I do need to lift them up and I do need a secondary hand. So I'll be calling like Joey in here because these windshield wipers, I cannot sustain them up by itself unless I do put a microfiber applicator. But going back to the application process, side to side, and as you guys can see, I am working on a small area at a time because I am dealing with ceramic. Now, whenever you're dealing with ceramic, you always want to work it in linear motions, and you always want to take your time on it because a ceramic is going to flash, it's going to harden, so you always want to let it sit for anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute. Now, if you are living in a colder environment, if you are in a garage, like the temperature is very well, let it sit for 1 minute to 2 minutes. But other than that, 30 seconds is more than enough. Get a clean, soft microfiber towel, come back to the surface, and just buff it off. And it comes off so smooth with little to no effort. So just flip my towel, buff off the residue, and wow, it just feels so smooth. Now I know that this glass is protected. And just like that, we protected this glass. Next up, I need to do this section and that section. So we're going to be repeating the same exact steps, but instead of this time applying 6 drops, I'm going to be applying 4 drops because the applicator already has suspended product on it, and I don't want to overdo it. So 4 dime-sized drops. Put my blot off to the side. Blotch, 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 blotch. And it's okay if I overlap my previous pass because I want an even coverage around this whole entire windshield. Now, what's the benefit of having a ceramic coating on your glass? The benefit is contamination, rain, water spots, bird droppings may land on the surface of your glass, but it's actually not going to etch in. And for all my East Coast family, whenever it snows, snow is not going to harden on it. It's not going to cause water spots. It's going to be easier to clean. So just take the time and effort to ceramic coat your glass so like this you stay protected, you have better visibility, and nonetheless, you stay shining through the winter. So let me just finish this section, that section, and then I'll be back to show you guys the finished results that I achieved using these products. Anyways, guys, before it flashes on me, let me start wiping it down.
Yeah.
All right, Camoguys family. So it's already been 3 hours. We let the car sit. We applied the ceramic coating on that side. We buffed it off. The glass is crystal clear and it's fully cured. So after you finish applying HydroSlick to the glass, keep it out of the elements for at least like 3 to 24 hours. Luckily for us, this is going to be a test. We're going to pull it outside. We're going to see the beating results we achieved on this glass. Obviously, the car is still dirty on this side, and we're still going to be working on it off camera. But if you guys would like to pick up any of the products that I use in today's video, you already know where to find it, chemicalguys.com, or drive down to your local detail garage and make sure to stay tuned to see the intense hyperactive water beating we achieved using HydroSlick on this glass. I'll see you guys outside.